be standing here like I'm talking into an old school payphone.
I'm sorry. Just take me back. I didn't mean it.
I'm holding like a little like brown bag full of liquor in my hand, like slamming my fist against the glass. Like, nah, listen, man, my kids too, Sharon. God damn it. Yeah.
You hear me? I'm a changed man. I haven't had a drop in 4 days.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage, your number one garage for psychic dolphins, or your number one psychic for dolphin garages. Either way you want to cut it. We had a little bit of an audio issue this episode, so my apologies for the grating, annoying awfulness that you are about to witness. Actually, it's not that bad, but there is an echo on one of our mics that unfortunately we weren't able to actually figure out because it didn't happen during checks, and it actually occurred about 20 minutes into our warm-up, and that was around the same time that we thought we were all clear. So our apologies in advance for that. On the plus side, though, we have promised to make it up to you with a special preview episode for the 2020 DNC presidential debates, where Zach and myself run down all of the candidates and just try and introduce ourselves to them as well as you guys. So please bear with us. We promise we won't make this mistake again, knowingly at least, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Dolphin attack.
I mean, what the fuck is there to say? This is Psychic Dolphin Garage, the only podcast where we're psychic dolphins in the garage, officially endorsed by the 5th Posadas International. It's the secret one. You've got to subscribe to a really weird Patreon. I'm joined by my... This is my show now, fuckers.
You're starting to cut out.
Shit, did it? No, fuck me running. Yeah. I thought you were saying we're losing him insofar as I'm saying it's my show now.
Oh no, he's cutting out. Pushing my white noise button.
He's gone mad with a very small amount of power. You know, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely, and a little bit of power just kind of makes you an asshole.
Again, going with the coolest kid in 8th grade quotes.
Yes, I'm joined by my very good friends, Kelton and Zach, at that Kelton guy, and at Shinobi One Kenobi on Twitter. I myself am at Schneidwab. Let's get this ball fucking rolling, y'all.
Yeah.
The world's burning. We gotta talk.
Hell yes, absolutely. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on overall. The most important things that I guess that we can all talk about is domestic and foreign. One thing though that we will be touching on in a side episode is Trump trying to deport millions of people using ICE, because he pushed that back 2 weeks because I guess he watched Men in Black International and thought there were a bunch of illegal aliens.
The literal aliens, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's how it worked with him.
Pretty sure I got back 2 weeks too because he tweeted about it and he was supposed to tweet about it. So.
Yes. It turns out that when you're doing a secret raid trying to coordinate on a national level in 10 major cities, you probably shouldn't speak about it at a rally the day before all of the whole process was about to happen. So, yeah. Can you imagine how fucking terrifying this administration would be if they were halfway competent at their job?
If you didn't have a fucking Swiss cheese brain. Like, if literally anyone other than our fucking... As much as I would love for him to take a top-down convertible ride through Dealey Plaza. That would leave the quiet and sinister fucking X-Man villain. Yes, that's satire. Well, no, it's lovely in Dallas this time of year. That's what I'm saying. But that would leave, especially over by the book depository, it would leave the quiet, sinister X-Man villain Mike Pence in charge of things, and nobody's gonna pay attention to that motherfucker. His name can't be turned into Drumpf or anything. So everyone's gonna just totally lose the thread. Meanwhile, we backslide into fascism about 200 times faster. So it's good that we have a dipshit in chief.
It is. I mean, it kind of feels like an alternate reality where what if Emperor Palpatine was suffering from dementia while trying to rule the Empire?
What if Hitler was the boss from Dilbert?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He sucks just in general. But there is a much more local story that intrigues me. So we'll save the ice conversations and more serious interview type stuff with Zach because he's good at that. And for more dick joke type stuff, me and Bo, we're gonna hold it down.
Hey, that's all I have on my resume. My entire LinkedIn is dick jokes from 1994 to present.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, try. Yeah. When you're looking for experience, I'm the guy.
They were the golden years. What was that, Grandpappy? 2000 to 2008. That's right, Grandpappy. The Great Meme Wars.
Grandpa Bo, what were you doing when fascism was surging back to prominence?
Yeah.
Well, I was making dick jokes on the internet, my robot son. Son.
I was making lessons good with dick jokes.
It's a body pillow attached to a Roomba that's just rolling with an Alexa ball gag tied to its mouth.
Yeah, this is actually just a flash forward to 5 years from now when we have an environmental collapse and Bo is stuck in the wild it's just like the scene from the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. The thing that happened on a local level that really fascinates me is that the Oregon House passed a cap and trade economic climate change bill that was originally scheduled to go to the state Senate, but it didn't make it there because several Republican senators fled the state to ensure that there would be too few senators present to do a vote on it. As such, those Republican senators ended up getting fined $500 a day per person. But guess what, guys? A GoFundMe has been set up and started to cover their legal fees and has gained over $38,000. So, GoFundMe isn't all good, I guess, is my point. So,
GoFundMe raised $38,000 to prevent our elected officials from having to do their jobs. And but hey, it also
it gets better. Yeah. The governor then has said that they're going to be sending police to track down the senators, and a local militia group called the 3 Percenters, spelled III percenters, promised security, transportation, and refuge for these state senators, acting like they're part of the fucking Underground Railroad of sorts for mediocre whiteness.
Those eyes are not shaped like arrows either. This is not the good kind of theory.
No, it's not actually. It's actually the same militia group that forcefully took over the National Wildlife Refuge in 2016.
Fucking Clive Bundy guys, yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's right. Fucking Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, it's not the same time.
It's not ISIS.
It's not the first time. Goddamn. It's not the first time.
Everything's coming back.
Yeah, it's not the first time that this militia group has done something like this. It's also not the first time that a walkout has happened in Oregon.
Oh, no. I'm sure. What was the other one?
There's been a lot of other ones where senators just refused to vote so they leave the state. Democrats did it. I don't remember what it was for specifically, but Democrats did it for a different vote. It was like a school funding vote or something that was like, this is for the children. They're like, no, yeah, they should walk out for that. But it's actually good. I'm glad that they're not taking away funding for literal schools.
I would just love it if the Democrats were like, no, we didn't realize we were breaking a rule. We just thought it was senior skip day, man. We didn't mean to get in trouble.
All the Democratic state senators are like out behind the Capitol smoking weed in the parking lot. Oh shit! You guys, McCarthy's coming. Put it out.
Oh man, it's the governor. Come on.
Somebody's big brother bought them a case of fucking Keystones. They're all like barely choking them down because they're fucking drinking them too fast because they're super shook up. And I'm really telling on my high school experience, aren't I? Shit.
Given the news about how the governor is sending police to go try and get these senators that are now being defended by local militia, one of the Republican senators that's being protected by the 3%ers said, send bachelors and come heavily armed. I'm not going to be a political prisoner in the state of Oregon. It's just that simple.
I'm sorry. Did his message happen to come printed on a card that looked a little bit like a bicep, but a little bit also like something else? What's up? Just 3 cool senators looking for other cool bachelors for our party mansion.
See that's the much better way to view it. I thought it was
sexual.
Bachelor, because then they won't have any wives or children who will miss them when they come heavily armed.
Oh no, trust me. If they're threepers, they don't have wives. If they, even if they have wives and children, they don't have wives and children who will miss them.
Oh no! Don't go for the weekend. Ah man, I'm gonna have to invite Craig over to help me watch
my
with the
personal
kids.
trainer. Who like listens to my problems and respects me as a person. And doesn't make go to the kitchen jokes like he's a fucking 16-year-old on Reddit. Whatever will I do?
He hasn't
other than climax repeatedly and feel like a human being for the first time in a decade.
It's just so nice to be held in the arms of a man who hasn't spent our life savings on Black Rifle coffee.
Perfect.
This is the people that Amazon recommends MAGA shirts and Hillary for president shirts too.
Yeah, I mean, this is this very weird thing because in leftist circles, this is the most ACAB sentence ever stated. Send bachelors and come heavily armed.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god. But I can just picture it now on every grunt-style militia t-shirt.
The libertarians are already wetting their panties over it. They're like, oh my god, resist the state. It's like, he's a senator. He is the state.
Yeah, you are literally sending squads of Jeep driving dipshits to show up with their fucking tactical gear and guide senators so they can properly do their jobs. You are enabling the state, bud.
This isn't even like sending out like the SWAT teams and their big, reclaimed military vehicles. It's just
black
like
helicopters and shit.
Yeah, no, it's just like sending out like a state trooper to do like a wellness check on your fucking dying grandfather.
Zach,
is he still alive?
It's not even that level. Like, they are sending the guy who on the weekends directs traffic for church parties. Like, that is the level of cop that they're sending to make sure. Because, I mean, as badass a line as that is, the guy who said it, I'm sure looks like, some guy that would hang out for way too long at golf stores. And,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
All of these guys hang out for too long at golf stores.
He doesn't look like something when you say Oregon, I expect I don't know what I expect. All I can think of is the stupid Portlandia.
Yeah. I don't think it's entirely wrong.
It's a bunch of Fred Armisons with guns. That's what it is.
No, he looks like he's from Utah. He looks like a Mormon, not quite elder, but like somebody who's like.
It's funny you should say that because that's the state.
He looks like a racist baseball coach. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, so he went back to his family.
That's right. They're all hiding out in Utah. So the story just gets better and better because then the Capitol building was shut down because the militia was making threats of violence. And the news reporting is like these cowardly Democrats shut down the government because some threats got made. And I have no idea what sort of level of psychosis it would take because that truly is one of the most justifiable reasons for shutting down for the day.
Oh yeah. No, if I pulled up to work and a bunch of dipshit Five-Finger Death Punch fans were standing outside hooting and hollering about fucking, I don't know, InfoWars or... Yeah, exactly. I just fucking keep on rolling and immediately call my boss, hey, I have immediate terrible diarrhea and won't be able to come in for a week. So, see you in fucking Barbados, I guess. You know, that would be, especially being a fucking senator.
It's a horrible symptom of capitalism when the like at will state programs where you can't just like not show up. That mentality is being applied to people that run our government when they're having threats made against their lives.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I'm sure
I'm just too hungover to show up for it. I don't have somebody at work with a gun waiting for me to show up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I'm
gotta
sure
just be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody, anywhere. Like you enough to what?
To sit at work with a gun ready to shoot instantly.
I'd feel flattered almost, yeah.
I would really appreciate it. Same media.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have to come into work today? Oh, fucking yeah. Blast me, dude.
They don't have to clean my brains out of my house? Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, see, all of this, though, is going to get used as justification to further militarize the police forces. So they're not going to be able to storm the Capitol building next time. I mean, they went from a national park wildlife refuge to a Capitol building to now they're going to need to get even smaller. So I am wondering, like, what state level or county level municipal building are they going to start, like, taking over? Some Department of Water and Power?
If you stop the ability of the U.S. government to send messages, then it will collapse. That's why we hit the post office.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy because much like a lot of stuff in the past few years with the, nascent fascism of just kind of the worldwide political movement to the right, it's very scary and weird, but also so fucking stupid that it's also super funny. Like, it's essentially a bunch of these LARPer dudes getting together and raiding a fucking courthouse. Or fucking, state capitol.
It's not
but at the same time,
illegal. It's like,
it's not technically illegal.
We're carrying our guns. Okay.
It's technically illegal to threaten violence in the Capitol building.
Would you like the right to protest and be infringed upon? Like, you're like, hey.
Well, what we need to do is get Austin Redguard on a fucking bus. Those fucking are LARPers.
You're just saying that because you're about to move to Austin and you're trying to improve your area. You're just like, Austin Redguard.
Buy return tickets. Yeah.
Where's the furthest place from Austin? Ah, yes, Portland.
Let me know when they invade a fucking state capital in Alaska.
Yeah, no, Alaska still hasn't heard about the kid shooting, so we're not quite to like malicious the state capital yet.
Four very well equipped and persuasive Red Guard were able to take Alaska, and they have now become part of Mother Russia once again. So it's fantastic.
There's also one of those "Hi, how are you" murals up there now, and it's attracting a lot of yuppies.
That would be fantastic. Gentrifiers in Alaska trying to make it work. Like, keep Alaska weird.
Alaska's plenty weird, yeah.
Who is this for exactly? 19 different, neighborhoods pop up. Everyone talking about how they're Alaskan natives, even though they lived there for 6 months.
Yo, dude, you had ACL last year? Alaska city limits. Stop. Pause for applause. Can you?
They all laughed
Why don't y'all
at
edit
that
in
stadium, Zach.
some laughs, please? Thanks.
Keeps on paying off. Well, I mean that's kind of what's happening in Oregon, I guess.
I'm glad that same militia group and these same senators can all keep not showing up and threatening each other, and then now the most interesting part of it is the tweeting. It's now they're everybody's trying to they're oh, they won't show up. That's just where we are. It's just gonna keep happening. Nobody's gonna say anything about it. It's totally cool. Yep. Very cool and good.
Very cool and normal country we live in.
Yeah.
I think this is the third episode in a row I've said those exact same words.
Well,
hey, want another example of how we live in a very cool and normal world, guys?
We live in an incredibly regular society. Hit me.
Okay. Well, reports came out this week on the conditions of asylum seekers and refugees and their living conditions. Children were lacking.
Funny.
No, this is not funny. I'm going to read this and you guys make jokes about these children whose lives are in peril. How about that? Is that good?
Jesus, dude.
Children were lacking basic necessities and were feverish, unresponsive, and vomiting. They're actively being denied medical care, and it's being known as a breeding ground for disease. So put your joke in here about that situation.
Well, I had so many of them fucking lined up, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
breeding ground for disease, just like your mom.
Hey, there you go. We had some levity.
2008, come back again.
Some real Xbox Live shit, yeah. No, so going off that fucking podcast episode you had us listen to as our little study session for this, which again,
quick plug for
please
Behind the Bastards, hosted by Robert Evans. I believe the guest on the episode was Jaquise Neal. They went through the whole history of concentration camps in approximately an hour, and it is something that I recommend that everyone please listen to. It's available wherever podcasts can be found.
Yeah.
Wherever you listen to us, you can listen to them.
Yeah, I listen to it on Spotify. It's on Apple, whatever. I'm sure you can find it on Stitcher. I'm dumb. But yeah.
It was especially interesting considering that they talked about everything considering that the big thing about concentration camps is that they're not concentration camps, they're just internment centers or detention centers, which are very specific, very specific language that is used in the propaganda wars to make it not sound like a concentration camp, because what comes to mind when you hear concentration camp?
Yeah, I mean, and they're trying to draw a weird comparison line, and we'll dive into that in just a moment. A viral video of Trump officials stating that these refugees and asylum seekers did not need soap, toothbrushes, or beds to be safe and sanitary became incredibly popular online, dominating pretty much everyone's social media feed, so I'm sure you saw it. And journalist Michael Scott Moore then mentioned that when he was abducted by Somalian pirates, even they gave him toothbrushes and soap, which is a very weirdly specific thing to mention because it makes it seem like, these are cost-cutting measures, and it's in no way a cost thing. Each person currently being detained costs $750 a day, or in other words, $22,000 a month. And they don't even give them necessities.
Aren't these detention centers? Aren't these concentration camps being run by private companies?
Yes, these are private for-profit companies that our tax dollars are going to.
The federal government is paying them to keep these people, and then just don't care what happened to the people once they're inside of there.
Basically, they're forcing these people to live like BuzzFeed interns in San Francisco, and it makes me sick. I mean, no one should have to live like that.
Yeah.
And by the way,
for BuzzFeed interns in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, you know what? That's a low blow. You guys stay striking, stay strong, labor. It's important.
Oh shit, that's cool. Didn't know that.
Yeah. also, I guess, much like being an intern in 2019, there's a shitload of sexual assault happening. There have been over 1,200 instances of ICE officers sexually assaulting and or being violent, sexually violent, that is, to detainees as of 2018. So it's
Can't wait
it's
for
kind
that
of
to come out for this year, yo.
yeah, and again, this was when the spotlight wasn't on the issue. So
Yeah.
it really came into focus when AOC tweeted that these places were detention centers and that they were concentration camps. So if you had to guess who gave a response that really lit the fuel, someone who disagreed with AOC, who would you pick as the person to properly state and
Chris Christie.
counter?
I would say 6 out of 7 dudes in any Applebee's across the country. Wait, that's Chris Christie.
Yeah, already taken. Asshole. Pick another one.
Well, again, being the good feminist that I am, I just want to mention that everyone should have thought of a woman. Because, of course, it was Dick Cheney's daughter, Liz, that tweeted back saying that it was hyperbole and, in not so many words, anti-Semitic to call the detention centers concentration camps. Of course, drawing the one-to-one comparison.
Thank you, you fucking idiot.
Yes. Because it's pretty fucking ignorant to believe that any one race or group of people has a monopoly on being war crime victims. Even then, like, if that were the case...
It's pretty fucking ahistorical, yeah.
Yeah, because if that were the case, we all know that the Irish would have the right to that. I mean, they were technically slaves, right?
Well,
right? I repeat.
Well, I mean,
No.
You're forgetting, you say Irish, you're forgetting the G in LGBT gamers.
Oh, that's very true. But gamers didn't have to constantly deal with the British and their constant love of concentration camps the entire time. So,
so that is one thing about that podcast that was actually, not to plug that episode again too much, but
please
fucking,
go into it.
the British, as much as the Germans, of course, in our cultural imagination, the Germans did the concentration camps, of course. The British did them the most,
all the time. They fucking
so
love
far,
it.
at least. I mean, because God knows we're giving them a run for our money now.
Yeah, well,
we've inherited the mantle of colonial shitheads, and now they're just a fun little Doctor Who island.
As a bunch of people with British-German heritage, I mean, it's only natural that when powers combine, the Wonder Twins activate.
Everything is way worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So, it's not good.
No, it's not good. Because, I mean, the whole idea of concentration camps essentially got really inspired from Andrew Jackson's Indian removal policy, and then it really got updated when the Spanish were starting to implement them in Cuba, and the British kicked them into more or less the modern-day world with how they treated the Boers at the time over in South Africa. Again, everyone just listen to the podcast. But that inspired the Turkish-Armenian conflict to, have the
Turkish-Armenian genocide. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Conflict. We got to go with what the United States federal government has said about the.
Oh yeah, can't break kayfabe on that one.
That's all they are. Like, listen here, brother. I know 2 things. 1, that wasn't a genocide. 2, you're going down Thursday night.
Jesus.
When
American exceptionalism's running wild, brother.
When actually asked about the concentration camps that were inspired by the British, Hitler had the quote of "Who now asks about the Armenians?" Basically meaning like, "What the fuck are you gonna do about it?" So
that was basically, bitch boy, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Hitler saying that was the equivalent of his worshippers now saying "Poe's mad" in comment sections.
Just repeating it over and over and over again.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, like Liz Cheney just doesn't know her history, or is it willfully ignoring it? I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was her father, I would say that he's being a manipulative asshole. But because it's her, I don't know whether or not she is being disingenuous or she's just genuinely brainwashed.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, either way, Dick Cheney's legacy lives on. So
truly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, not
Either
every
he's evil or
concentration...
brainwashed or both.
Exactly. Because not every concentration camp is the Holocaust. I mean, some are internment camps, some are labor camps, and some are extermination camps and death camps. But all of them are concentration camps. Like, that's just,
Literally, as far as the definition goes, you're concentrating a group of people who are not criminals into one specific space. And I swear to God, if any dipshit boomers say anything about, oh, well, they're illegal aliens, it's like, you shut the fuck up, first of all.
Yeah, refugees
Orders
and
are fake.
asylum seekers.
literally, the reason why we had to have secret war prisons that were technically outside the U.S. was so that we could torture prisoners and kill them in those camps.
Zach.
And instant interrogate those prisoners.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you. We have to get
I've seen enough 24 to know what this is going to be about. Yeah.
The reason why we had so many of those enhanced interrogation camps outside of U.S. waters was because even war prisoners have rights under the Constitution. Facts don't care
And if
about
they're outside of the U.S., they don't have rights anymore somehow, magically.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why we've had embargo against Cuba, except for one tiny little part of it. I mean, every death that happens is awful, and every death, especially that occurs inside a concentration camp, is avoidable, but not every death has a cinematic quality to it, so it doesn't necessarily catch everyone's eye, nor does it, inspire change. Anne Frank didn't die in a gas chamber. She died of typhus 2 weeks before the Allies arrived. So, people kind of forget that element of a story. And I mean, if we do really want to go with, what about Nazis, blah, 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 blah. Nazi concentration camps before World War II, so before the actual conflict started to happen, had anywhere between 7,000 and 45,000 people in them at the time. Do you want to guess what the United States currently has right now? Again, this is all estimated.
No, actually, I would really not like to guess that. Yeah,
it is 36,000 people that we have. And again, it doesn't mean that it's only been 36,000. It means that at any given point in time,
currently,
correct. So, it's good times.
36,000 people through our camps.
Yes, exactly. Deporting them, or in the rare case, actually accepting them. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, so I mean that was kind of my thoughts listening to the Beyond. Is it Beyond or Behind the Bastards?
Behind the Bastards.
Behind the Bastards. So that was kind of my thoughts listening to the Behind the Bastards podcast. Like, as again in the popular imagination, the German concentration camps are the absolute worst of the worst, and in many ways they are. But the fact that
I'm gonna say that
the British ones are pretty. The British ones and the Spanish ones are medieval, literally, in their way.
Yeah.
The British ones are many, many different flavors of fucked up.
And the Armenian ones where they just march you into the desert to die. That's kind of
I would say that the new American ones on top of
okay, guys. So top 5 is what I'm getting at.
I got it.
No one asks what's your favorite Queen song. Okay, give a grouping from what's at the top.
God, that really is just the worst.
Gotta say, I don't have a favorite really, but if there was a pony I was gonna get on.
Choose. But no, I think there's something uniquely perverse about American concentration camps, in that not only are they a bigger money maker for us, and I'm sure, of course, again in the German example,
not for
Henry
us.
Ford was
That's so
not for
true.
us, for
I hadn't
America.
even thought of that. We have privatized this industry.
Yeah, we've made it into fucking Walmart.
Jesus Christ, that does make it so much worse.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, and I'm granted not the most intense scholar of previous human war atrocities, human rights violations, but I don't remember hearing so much about fucking molestation and nonsense in historical concentration camps as I have the fucking American ones.
Well,
So
let me tell you something about my
Which-
military history classes.
holy shit! How uniquely American.
No, I'm pretty sure sodomizing your enemies is even in the Bible.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you gotta remember, King David, in order to get a bride, had like 10,000 foreskins cut off for him. So
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that to the victors go the spoils, but
Well, yeah, that's fuck.
yeah, no, we won and we didn't molest anybody.
Okay, but that's the thing
Wasn't
about
really a
fucking
victory if you didn't
current
molest
American
anyone.
colonial empire. It's like, we won, but now we're gonna keep molesting everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's very
we're
true.
going to make a machine that allows us to molest people for money. You know?
It is. It's
really-
it's very bad. And the more I learn actually about U.S. history, the more I wonder on what specific issues we actually disagreed with the Nazis on at the time. Because
None at all.
it certainly wasn't anything domestically, and it wasn't anything related to eugenics or really any of the scientific policies. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like the way that we view, people from Asian countries and the way that we view Jewish people, all of that was equally bad, and so it really just became maybe all of these alternate history type reality TV shows of, well, what if the Nazis won World War II? A much more realistic one.
What if the Nazis lost World War II?
No. It would be, what if the United States joined the Nazis? That's a much more likely outcome, I think, in this infinite universe theory. That in most of them, we probably sided with the Nazis.
I mean, the thing that I would be most interested to know, since the United States government is currently in court arguing that they don't have to provide these necessities to the prisoners.
Children.
The children.
Prisoners. They're not prisoners. They're not prisoners, Zach. They are being detained without trial. So
Kidnapped children. Yeah.
True. They're
The hordes of kidnapped children.
let's avoid the word horde.
That does have a negative connotation. The literal elementary school of kidnapped children. Yeah.
How many school districts of children do we currently have in cages?
God, no.
Fucking A.
So they're currently arguing about what constitutes a sanitary and safe or sanitary and healthy.
It's just the saddest macaroni art in the world.
At what point does
No, dude. Fuck.
Sorry, Zach.
That broke me. Fucking A.
I'm just waiting for the lawyer to stand up in court and argue that the U.S. government has the right to prima noctis.
But again, like I was saying earlier, I mean, with
To the victors go the spoils.
fucking and that's the thing too. So, quick aside, something I was thinking. Y'all saw that recent thing about the kind of sting against cops and how they're all dipshits.
It was
Not
some
boomers,
college
but you know what I mean.
It was
Mental boomers.
Yeah, it was some college kid who was trying to find, was going and finding pedophiles, and he rounded up a shitload of cops.
Oh, that's a different thing.
Oh,
Fuck, that's wild. I was talking about how how
different
recently
bad
some
cop
journalists,
story.
a different vibe. It's crazy how there's a lot of bad cop stories. It's almost like all cops are. What's the word?
Problematic.
Needed to round up rebellious
Problematic.
senators.
Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, so I forget the exact source of it, but basically it was this story about how a lot of cops are in very racist, horrible Facebook groups and have a shitty online presence because of course they do because they're cops.
that expose.
The one that FBI put out in 2000?
No. There was a recent story probably about 2 weeks ago that
Yeah.
it was released
Also,
this
the
kind
FBI.
of earth-shattering
You gotta send
thing.
me that later.
But it's just reiterating one that the FBI said, right?
Yeah, I mean, it basically was that.
Way to tell on yourselves, FBI.
Well, the FBI in like 2001 was like, "Hey, so this thing is happening. It's going to be kind of a problem in like a decade and a half." And then what do you know?
Decade and a half later.
But yeah, I mean, the same dudes who are, fucking posting Hillary for prison. Chris Kyle was a hero for shooting those people in Katrina memes. Are the people that clock in at fucking the detention center, the morning after. Like, they're
The
not
prison
good people.
selfie story. All those,
Oh shit, that got so swept under the rug. Yeah.
Oh no, you guys are mad about that? I did way worse stuff when I was deployed. Wait, hold on, you did what? Oh yeah,
That's been a hot take I've seen way too fucking often. Yeah.
It's just okay, guy. Well,
Yeah, as we were saying earlier, like the really only saving grace of not only this administration but the military-industrial complex in general is that everybody involved with it has no social skills and are basically fucking middle school levels of intelligence.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Well, also that, but they'll like post like, "Hey, just murdered a bunch of kids. Am I cool or what?" And then they'll get 3 likes from their cousins that they're all fucking, and then
I protest this.
at that point they've shown their ass to the whole
that's
world.
right. Again, people who fuck their cousins aren't always psychopaths. Okay,
But they're all cops. I'll die on that hill. Shit, yeah.
I'm no cop.
By the way, guys, where are all the pro-lifers in the middle of this whole giant concentration camp fiasco?
I don't want to have this conversation with
No.
pro-lifers.
Where are all the Pizzagate folks? Where's QAnon?
So actually, that's a far more interesting conversation. Because pro-life obviously is not about pro-life, but Pizzagate is ostensibly about defending children from a government sex cult. However, clearly they don't fucking care when the government is running basically, hey, I'm John Q. dipshit, barely made it through high school. Can I sign up for ICE and, have no oversight on the night shift and fuck kids? Sure, dude, go for it.
So
And
that's
the
my
U.S.
dealer.
government gives you her full backing,
Told my dealer I'm going to sign up for ICE once, and he gave me crack cocaine.
Damn, not even that.
Smoking crack cocaine is a better career choice than signing up for ICE. It's more morally fucking sound. Quote me on
And
this. Put
honestly,
this on my
like
fucking
a
headstone.
much better work-life balance.
You get so much time when you're smoking crack, Not speaking from experience at all.
Some guy is asked why he went to prison and had to join the Aryan Brotherhood. It was just like, didn't want to work for ICE, Woke up one morning and realized, like, do I really want to be a bad guy? So, anyway,
So I started smoking crack instead.
I started working for ICE. I started working for ICE, and then I started working for ICE.
Hey, the old career adage, don't work for ICE, make ICE work for you. By rearranging your teeth in the alley behind an Arby's.
hey man, I think I'm like $5. Get over here.
I'll trade you a double with the horsey sauce for that.
Oh no! Oh, horsey sauce. It's such a. I'm never gonna get over that name.
That's a quadruple entendre, yeah.
So the problems that we face, though, are only going to be getting worse and worse as we put more black smog and pollution into the sky and continue to bomb and get more and more into wars and cling to the last shreds of our dying American empire. We're going to see a bunch of climate migrants and war refugees seeking shelter from the problems we created. We're not really doing anything about it.
It's almost like we kill them all first.
Now that's. I mean, we're trying that over in Yemen right now. I mean, we're like, well, there can't be any war refugees if there are no more refugees just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Lauren Southern approach to.
Oh my god. Jesus.
No, but I mean, like that's the joke, but also like that's like the cynical approach of these people. Like, hey, fucking let them drown in the Mediterranean, or just fucking let them grow
It's
outside the
not
walls
in
of Castle America.
Yeah, we simply put, the government, and unfortunately, will put that on as a reflection of the country overall as a whole, is that they don't give a fuck about brown people. They don't give a fuck about Central Americans. Like, I mean, how many people do you think could state an adequate summary of where the situation with Yemen currently is right now?
What is Yemen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you mean ramen. Yeah, I like that shit. It's pretty good. They got a cool place over on 6th Street. I mean, we certainly are acting like we don't give a fuck about the drought that's currently happening in India with one of their major sources of water disappearing. All of this isn't just symptomatic of white nationalism. It's being propelled into becoming white globalism.
Speaking of water sources disappearing, there's currently something going on in the Grand Canyon where companies are looking to make like gentrifying some neighborhoods there and making just like shopping centers and like summer houses kind of. And
inside the Grand Canyon,
nearby the Grand Canyon, near enough to be using water sources that feed I believe it's the Colorado River that goes in there.
Yeah.
And it would essentially like eliminate the water that feeds the Grand Canyon like national park area.
That'll be fine. When they diverted water to build LA and diverted water to build Las Vegas, everything turned out fine for everyone, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I only read the first 2 pages of every history book.
It's Chinatown, Jake.
I guess my larger point being the big takeaway is fuck anyone who decides to celebrate the 4th of July next weekend for patriotic purposes. If you do it because you just want to set shit on fire and get explosions, cool, yeah, go on.
And eat ribs.
Yeah.
I celebrate eating ribs every day, actually, so get on my fucking level, you reactionary quote-unquote patriots.
I mean, it's awful, is what it is. So, unfortunately, the one thing it seems like we are good at is being awful through incompetence, which is this weird.
Speaking of being awful through incompetence, the drone shot down in Iran.
Oh yeah, God. Fucking. At what point is there going to be too much just horrible bullshit happening in the world to contain it? Are we going to have to start going to like a 4-hour format, like a fucking Joe Rogan style? Hey, yeah. God. Yeah. I'm really continuing to hope that the whole Iran thing falls through because God knows the world has enough fucking.
It's like me trying to show up to a party, like, I was going to show, but not really feeling it anymore, you know?
That is the worst and most accurate metaphor. Like, you were like texting somebody for like maybe 2 hours, like. They were saying, hey dude, I'm here, are you showing up? And it's like, oh yeah, totally. And then you finally do show, and like everybody's kind of filtering out, and you're still trying to make the party happen. Like, what's up, dude? Like, you're already hammered somehow. Nobody knows what your car's outside crashing into a tree, and that car is the American Empire. It's still running somehow.
Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty cool.
Open, it's just been here and labels like infrastructure, healthcare.
The alt left.
Not gonna lie, but like the super dope like punk rock Antifa version of being anti-Ben Garrison, just where like running out with a spray can and just tagging everything with labels would be one of the coolest people in the entire world.
What if Banksy were good? Yeah.
True. Would you mind giving a real quick recap of what led to the drone being shut down?
Okay, so what happened was Trump thought that the Iran deal that we originally got was bad.
Okay.
Because it was made by Obama.
Okay.
So then we canceled the Iran deal.
And what did the Iran deal do?
The original Iran deal that we were working on prior to prior to the current administration's what they were working towards was limiting the amount of nuclear fuel that they could have. There was a limit to how much they could have and how enriched it could be. Because they do have nuclear power in Iran, which is
Iran, very pro-nuclear power.
Pro-nuclear power, which makes me very pro-Iran. So, yeah. Internment camps and, they're already better than us. So, they limited the amount of enriched uranium they could have, and then limited, there's different levels of different types of uranium you can have that you can enrich to. There's some that are more conducive to using nuclear weapons, and there's some that are less conducive. And because we don't want to be shown up like we were in North Korea, we wanted to make sure that they didn't have enough, that they couldn't threaten us or threaten, to become independent because we can't attack you with nuclear weapons. Otherwise, we would be in the entire world, which celebration is enough. But so all the numbers were crunched, and they're like, all right, so we have to basically any deal we make is going to be an agreement on how much uranium they have, how much they're enriching, how much they have stocked, all that. So
Obama created that deal. Trump canceled that deal because he thought it was bad.
Yeah, and then he's trying to renegotiate
in place. Okay, he's renegotiating right now, and then
but he's got to get all of the negotiations that failed. North Korea summit did not go great. The Iran one is currently going better than expected.
We didn't try to not go great, but North Korea is still here and kicking, and baby, I'm buying a ticket any fucking day now. So
that would be actually really cool if we were able to record a podcast episode from inside North Korea.
Yeah, I would adore that.
I mean,
that'd be beautiful. I wouldn't even mind South Korea staring over at North Korea eating Korean food.
Yeah, if not for our our authoritarian country totally stopping us from actually visiting North Korea, God forbid we go over there, get our heads filled with silly communist thoughts.
Again, just would be one of those things. Just be like, hey, okay, so what's the deal on defecting? Like, what's the what are we looking at here? What's that process?
Can I just crash on your couch for several years? Yeah.
How insane would it be if North Korea decided to have open borders? Like, to just have free immigration. Anyone would be allowed in.
And fucking, like I said, still wouldn't do us any good. We're not allowed to go there.
That would be interesting. I mean, they would be a lot more susceptible to American attacks, CIA, international intelligence attacks on their country, on their infrastructure.
Turns out the whole rise in K-pop has been a CIA psyop the entire time.
Hey, no, actually, I have a fucking YouTube video to send you. Can we put this in the show notes?
Oh, God.
Fucking...
Oh, no.
So South Korea's whole fucking culture, basically, is... I mean, not to sound too fucking Rusty Shackelford, but more or less their whole fucking situation is evolved from their occupation by the U.S. in the 50s and the culture that came out of that. And, they're basically just America New Game Plus.
Well, and also the only reason why they become an international relevance is because of K-pop, because of their hyper-capitalist, music culture. The rest of the country is basically stuck in like the 60s culturally, and so it's just like a bunch of. It's like literally a bunch of just boomers, and then everybody in the younger generation is just like, hey, we're actually a real country, and we have real things happening, and we're gonna have to get fucking used to talking about masturbation online. So
our music legends are also getting incarcerated for sex crimes. So come on.
Not to be too American exceptionalist or anything, but I feel like the real hot new thing to do is to say, hey, we're actually not a real country and we suck and fuck you.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation.
Start lowballing other countries about who we are. I mean, that's as opposed to like how America just is necking other countries. It's just like, yeah, South Korea, you ain't shit. Yeah, no, we don't like you. That's right, your hair. Yeah, your makeup. Not good.
Yeah, the U.S. Our whole fucking military industrial complex is basically just us peacocking to other countries.
look at that.
Like, hey, you like my dumb fucking hat? I'm about to kill Iran. What's up?
Oh no! Just picturing Mystery with his access to the giant red button, the football nuclear briefcase.
Oh Jesus! So all of this peacocking that we do, and all the peacocking we've done with our international relations, and last week, 2 weeks ago, Iran was sitting down with Japan with Shinzo Abe and the Japanese Prime
This is like Bill Mayer you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Oh no. Turns out using the word Abe when referencing a Japanese man, wildly problematic. We're about to
Abe Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah, Shinzo Abe Lincoln. He's a regular Democrat. Diplomat, Democrat, same difference. The Japanese Prime Minister was sitting down with the Iranian government negotiating some trade stuff, and there was an attack on oil tankers, a Norwegian and Japanese oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. And the attack is pretty much like widely accepted to have been by the U.S. There are accusations from the U.S. that it was done by the Iranians, which doesn't make sense.
Oh, I mean, it's more than accusations. I mean, that's like what our official policy stance is.
Yeah.
The rest of the world is just like, nah, that's not the case.
Yeah,
like,
the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the LA Times all lined up to start saying that, oh wow, it was Iran. And everyone else is like, nope, that doesn't. I don't know why you would even say that.
It really did show capitalism because there was a partnership of capitalism.
Not capitalism. It just shows the imperialism.
Oh, well, yes, I'm sorry. In my mind, the two are linked. Of where the newspapers teamed up to agree to a story sponsored by the United States government about how it was Iran. The story got pushed out there, didn't actually sell well, so then the private companies completely laid over on their stomachs and then started to issue stories about, well, what if it wasn't Iran? Well, who could it be? Who knows?
Phrases like Gulf of Tonkin were thrown around willy-nilly.
Yeah. For some reason, the USS Maine started trending again.
Oh, I hear it's lovely up there this time of year.
Yeah, go see the USS Maine, like you can see the USS
Especially when you're remembering Span.
So I'm just gonna round out this Iran thing before we wind the podcast down. So the most recent development is, of course, the drone that they shot down. The U.S. drone, the $100 billion drone that was in their airspace for some reason. Don't know why someone was just flying $100 billion where it shouldn't be. and then complained when they got shot down. But that is gained popularity with the grifters. They're like, oh my god, they're shooting down our tax dollars, they're shooting down our military equipment. It's like, I don't know why borders are so important to you when they're ours, but not theirs.
Yeah, I would love it if Iran just sent 3 drones over into U.S. airspace.
Jesus, can you imagine?
What would happen?
Yeah, we're even now, right? Like, no, now this means war. What do you mean? You shut down our drones. So, immediately afterwards, apparently we retaliated by, instead of dropping troops to the ground, we initiated a cyber attack, which is
Our thing now that we do, apparently.
well, I mean, we've been doing it. Remember the Stuxnet virus in like 2000 something?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was us injecting that. It was in 2010. It was us injecting that Iranian nuclear into their what are they? They're the stuff that enriches the uranium.
The reactors?
Not the reactors.
The refineries?
They're not called refineries. They're called something else.
Aperture Science Enrichment Centers. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm dumb self.
It was really interesting the way that it had it work because it was done in Siemens systems, which is industrial, like the industrial standard for for everything, for a lot of the process that happened here in the U.S. but to all their stuff. So it was a whole big thing. But
with a name like Siemens, would you expect it not to bust?
Hey, yeah, bro. Fuck yeah.
Centrifuge is what it's called.
There we go.
More like a
Centrifuge.
refuge. I'm not like breaking up, or it's not technical difficulties. I just have a very hard time interacting with other human beings.
Refuge.
Yep.
That's why I like to call my girl when I get home from working at the detention center.
Racism factory. That joke's stolen. I'm sorry, internet.
Alright, well, I guess to close this out, the last story I want to talk about is something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is hacking. Specifically, it's near and dear to the back of my throat, is a much more accurate way to phrase it. The city of Riviera Beach in Florida has agreed to pay $600,000 to a hacker. I mean, it's simply put that the hacker has obtained information that's vital for city operations, and so they just realize it's easier to pay the hacker. So my question ultimately becomes, what's a better form of activism? Threatening a Capitol building in Oregon, or taking a small city in Florida hostage with hacking? What's the take here?
So, my first instinct, not to be ageist or whatever, but considering that it's Florida, I'm honestly just thinking it's some intern who rotated a PDF 90 degrees and nobody knows how to do it back, and now they're just holding it ransom for was that $60,000 or $600,000?
$600,000.
Holy shit! No, okay. They not only rotated that PDF, they also saved it as a docx Microsoft Word file, and nobody knows how to change it back.
I'm gonna tell you something even easier that you could do that nobody would figure out. Is they found the one server that all their file system is on, and they changed the date on that server so that the server date has the wrong time, and that would not only fuck up everything, but they would never know what was wrong because that's not something that they would know how to fix. So I wish I could make $600,000 with my small time tech support knowledge.
See, I like the idea.
With some fucking tech info you found on WikiHow.
Yeah,
I really like the idea.
Just Google why can I not access network drives? And you check the time on the computer. Did not think of that.
No.
No, of course not. Who would think of that?
Yeah.
My favorite thought experiment would be to think about what if it's an intern who fucked up and accidentally put the wrong time on it. One simple mistake, a comma where a period should be kind of a thing, and then has been trying to cover his tracks, and it's escalated to such a point.
It's escalated. Actually, yeah, fucking, the new season of Parks and Rec sounds fucking amazing now that you mention it.
Starts blaming
Black
it.
Mirror, who?
Starts saying that Iran is the one actually hacking the Florida city.
Last time that was holding some old person at gunpoint in the middle of a park, asking, "Who the fuck do you work for?" Meanwhile, there's some distressed-looking millennial plugging away at their phone, like, "Oh shit, oh fuck, dude, I don't know how to fix this."
Man, some angry boomer with a gun being like, "Who do you work for?" The millennial. Well, in the gig economy, I actually work 4 different jobs, so you're going to need to specify which one, because Mondays and Tuesdays just getting pistol whipped over and over.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that this has been a good episode. Who the fuck knows how long it'll be after I'm done editing it, but...
Well, good episode also. Is anything good anymore?
No, it's bad. I mean, next week we're going to be all canceled. We're going to be doing a recap on how that horrible nuclear attack wiped out most of Colorado. So
thank God.
We'll see what
South Park's finally done for you.
They all laughed when I got my hand raised. Well, who's laughing now? Breaker.
This is I'm just looking for somebody to Skype and fucking JO with at this point. I'm very lonely. Also, hey, y'all watch anime anymore? How many people should still watch anime, even though it's only available on the VHS tapes and somehow survive the apocalypse? Anyway, see y'all in the killing fields.
It's not even VHS tapes. Those old school giant wheels that had single photos wrapped around the rim.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's even sadder than my collection of flip book hentai, and my but let me tell you, my DRM free video game collection are going to be Rulers of the Wasteland. Okay,
the thing that makes it worse.
It's a post-apocalyptic future where the currency is not hentai, but old Tijuana Bibles of Bugs Bunny fucking Elmer Fudd. Hey, this is some good shit. I'll give you 30 days of water and 5,000 rounds of ammo for this. And it's Marvin the Martian gaping his asshole goatsy style.
Jesus.
Well, I think it's on that note, guys, that it's time for plugs.
I'm so sorry. Can I interrupt real quick?
Go for it.
It's Betty Boop chugging a can of spinach and fist fucking Popeye.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, actually, no. Yeah, that's the transition. That's my plug. Please, somebody Google, or actually, artists, commission off of me. Send me an email.
PsychicDolphinGarage@gmail.com.
Yeah. Send it to their Gmail. And we'll get in touch.
There we go.
I'm telling you.
Let's
make it happen.
Burned
Let's bring this
my brain.
cursed art into the world.
Well, Zach, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter at Shinobi1Kenobi. Follow me so I can get clout, so that the guys from Chapo will notice me.
Come on, senpai. What about you, Bo?
I'm also on Twitter at Schnedwob. That's SCHNEDWOB. Mostly I tweet about game design, communism, and how I'm really fucking hankering for some Raising Cane's right now.
Dope. Well, You guys can find me on Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, pretty much anywhere and everywhere at that Kelton guy. Again, email us psychicdolphingarage@gmail.com. Give us a phone call. Leave us some thoughts at 512-402-2089. We picked an Austin area zip code just because 512-402 was pretty cool, but now it's actually applicable because of Bo, so we have everything for that.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking start a PO box where we can send totally not poisoned cookies, and it's just gonna be my fucking front door, and I'm gonna eat every single one of those motherfuckers.
It's gonna be poison cookies and Tijuana Bibles.
Hell yeah!
Just put that as the name of your debut
Give me
album.
one more. Give me one more. It's Porky Pig, and he's doing Two Girls, One Cup with the fucking Tasmanian Devil. There we go. That's
Oh my god. Back to poop. Okay, guys. Well, deuces.